Hello. Hi, I'm Doug Mumal, Director of Education for MPG, and welcome to our YouTube channel. In this quick demo, we'll see how easy it is to do problem determination with Performance Navigator. Let's get started. In this demo, we're going to show you the basics of problem determination. It's very easy to do problem determination within Performance Navigator. Here's a great real-life example where we have high CPU around 2 in the morning. To troubleshoot it, we simply right-click on the spike and we can drill right in and see all the active jobs that were occurring at that time. So let's let our report come up. What a great real-life example. Here we have all the work management fields that we want to deal with. For example, CPU. So at 2:20 in the morning, we can easily see that this compact job, a Lotus Notes job, was taking 88% of the box. It's not always that easy, but in this case, there's our culprit. Okay, so we see how easy it is to drill down into any interval and use the active jobs report to find our culprits. But here's the great news with Performance Navigator. We've improved the process. We have built-in functionality into the product where you can simply analyze an interval and the output is a comprehensive problem determination report with top job analysis built right into it. Let's see this example now. Okay, so let's look at our report. What I love about this report is it's a comprehensive view of what was occurring on the system when you're analyzing it. So the first section is my favorite. It is our what to check first section. These are three components: high priority CPU, disk organization, and machine pool faulting that can cause pain on the box when they're not within best practice guidelines. And as you can see here, we have two components that were over the best practice guideline. So it's a great way to really analyze your system. And again, we're all playing detective during this process and we're just crossing things off the list. So right off the bat here, we know that our disk arms were out of whack and our machine pool faulting was over our 10 faults a second guideline. And you can see here, hyperlinks built right into the report where you can go in and look at each individual metric. Okay, so let's continue in the report. As we scroll down, we get a nice breakdown of other core metrics that we're analyzing: CPU, CPW, disk, and memory. Hyperlinks built right into the process again, and we grade things within best practice guidelines. In our example here at 2:15 in the morning, we have a really neat response time service level breakdown, but you can see we didn't have any 5250 during this period that we analyzed. We do see, however, that our disk response time was over the best practice guideline of 4 milliseconds. If we click on this hyperlink, we can indeed see that it was high. As we scroll down further, we can see a neat memory allocation section. Love this section because as we're peeling back the onion and playing detective and analyzing, we can see how our memory was carved up on the box. We can see our faulting rate and we can see how performance adjuster was moving things around if you had performance adjuster on, or if you didn't, how your nightly batch in this case was set up to run in regards to memory. Next, we get down to the next section, which is pretty new but a really neat section within our problem determination. We try to give you indication of what the system's waiting on when you're doing your analysis. This is IBM weight buckets. So you can see here at 2:15 in the morning, we get very specific and tell you exactly what the system's waiting on. We're not saying it's bad. Again, we're just inventorying all the system weights. So as you're troubleshooting, you can get a feel for the weight buckets that were occurring on the system. And finally, we look at the top job analysis section. Very, very cool report where we can get an indication of all our core metrics and how they were performing in regards to jobs. We look at CPU milliseconds, sync IOs, async IOs, logical IOs, your program reads and writes, and finally, we can look at the faulting rate for the top jobs. What's really cool about this section is not only do you get fully qualified job names and how much resources they're using, but we also get an indication of system tasks and how they were running on the system as well. Okay, so let's look at another great example. Let's do problem determination, but this time let's look for a range of intervals. You know, very common, your boss may say to you, gosh, what happened last night with nightly batch, or what happened yesterday afternoon? You can do this very easily with problem determination in Performance Navigator. So let's see. This example, let's simply look at 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Maybe we had an indication that things were slow. So when you're doing this, remember, we're all playing detective, and we're just trying to cross things off the list as we're trying to figure out what could possibly be wrong on the system. So as we scroll down, again, we get the neat what to check first section, which I love to start just to make sure these key performance components that can cause us pain are in fact good. And in this example, we look great. So let's continue down in the report, and let's look at other metrics. The good news is we don't see our CPU pegged. We don't see anything red or yellow, so all the other core metrics look good. But you can see what sticks out like a sore thumb is we've had some response time issues. Sure, we've got some under half a second, but we've got some that are over a second. Now, in our example, we don't have many transactions here, but imagine this if you had millions of transactions where you had almost 20% of your people not having good response time. That would be a problem. And it would be an indicator that we need to kind of troubleshoot what's going on with response time. So let's go down and we're going to look at a really cool section of the report that might help us figure out what's going on with response time. So here we break up memory allocation on your system. Again, we're trying to show you things that could be causing your issues on the system. And you can see here that we can see the faulting rate for the period that we analyzed. Again, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. What I love about this section of the report is whether you have performance adjuster turned on or turned off, you can see how memory was carved up in each pool during this period. And if you see to me, kind of a thing that may make me troubleshoot a little deeper is I can see that my interactive pool only had 5% of the memory in the pool. So think about that. If I've got response time issues and I don't have much memory in the pool, maybe I've got some faulting there that could be causing some delays. Don't know for sure, but again, as we're playing detective, we're just making little mental notes of things that we can check out down the line. And then the next section, as we're playing detective even further, now we're getting into that fun geeky level where we're starting to look at weight buckets. And in this example, we're seeing what is the system waiting on. What I love about this section is it'll give you a nice comprehensive view of the top weight buckets, the top weights that were occurring in the system. And something that I kind of see right off the bat here, sure you've got a lot of the reserve, what's going on, but look at this. Look how much CPU queuing is happening on my system. Again, mental note taken, and now I need to figure out maybe there's some tuning I need to do because that's a lot of CPU queuing, and I don't want people to wait at the door to get into the system. I want people to process efficiently. Finally, we get to the comprehensive job analysis section where we look at the top jobs. Love this section. As we can see the fully qualified job names, we can easily see system tasks that were occurring at that time. And again, it gives a breakdown of the resources used for each metric. In this case, we're looking at who's using the CPU. Next, we look at sync IO, async IO, logical IO, so we get a good indication of our IOs that are occurring. And then finally, at the bottom, we can see the faulting rate for the top jobs. Just a really solid report, and again, just trying to help you find the culprits and find the issues on your system.